Welcome back to the MBN. It's me, Whamza, and Taunton's somewhere around here. But I haven't seen him. You guys tell me. We have a very exciting show for you guys today. As I understand it, most people are out of school, so we're just gonna have a fun episode.
A few moments later.
Oh, you're back. Where were you?
I was just hanging around.
Ah, okay. Well, we're going to get into the segment now. Well, this segment it includes you. You actually get to say something in the show.
Yeah.
For once. What's your favorite video that we've done? And it could be one that, it didn't make it past post-production, didn't get posted. You know, what's your favorite?
Well, I think my favorite was I think it was our first video we did, and that was the murder mystery video, where nothing made sense. Your mic was terrible. I couldn't hear you half the time, but we were just running around getting killed, and it was just so fun. Like, we figured out, that was the first time we played murder mystery, and we figured out that sword throwing's a thing, that there can be two murderers.
I was still in my old skin. It was a different era.
Yeah. We weren't even recording to post. I was just recording. And I was like, oh, this is funny, I'll post it.
Yeah, and it got like 20, and we were like, oh yeah, we're pros. Anyway, my favorite one, personally, was one that didn't get posted. The title was Minecraft Don'ts. And basically it was just a list of 10 things that you shouldn't do in order to beat Minecraft. And it was a comedy video, I guess you could call it that. So that none of the things were... It was satire. That's the word I'm looking for. So none of the first 3 things were things everyone's known. But we had other things like not attacking Dream, not bridging with sand, not playing the game at all. I guess the point of the video was 10 things not to do if you want to survive. Because, I mean, really, if you think about it, Minecraft itself is a game designed to kill you as a player.
Yeah, that basically sums it up.
Everything has the potential to be your undoing. I don't know. It was just fun to record. I can't remember why we didn't post it. We were trying to post it in December, I guess. I remember. December got busy. It never made it through. I don't think it even got edited.
Yeah, it never made it into the video editor.
I think the clips are just out there somewhere in the vault. Which I don't know if we have a vault. Is that considered company secrets?
It's our pre-era vault.
December that was a difficult month. For just playing a video game, it was a difficult month.
We played so much Hypixel.
Yeah. And we lost. I thought that losing was a good idea because people want to feel good about themselves, that they're better than you. It wasn't a good idea. People want to watch you win, I guess. I don't know why. Now I think we're going to play a game. So, cue the transition.
A few moments later.
And welcome to the segment we like to call Play a Game. We're very creative people. We're both going to be taking a quiz, jump on that bandwagon, of the Would You Survive a Horror Movie quiz. I personally thought this was going to be funny because I don't have any horror movie sense, just common sense. And I think Taunton's probably the same way. I don't know. Have you seen any horror movies in your day?
I have not seen any horror movies, but 5 months ago I became obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's, and I still haven't played the games, but I am very in tune with the story. That's the closest I've been. I haven't played any horror games, and I haven't seen any horror movies.
See, like, some plots of horror movies are like relatively famous though, that like in the I'm just giving context, in like some of the questions in the quiz, there are some that like I know are referencing certain movies, and like half of them I know what movie they're referencing, or I know of the plot basically, but I've never actually seen the movie or really any other horror movies. Because like, if you're using common sense in a horror movie, I don't know why, but those people don't survive. This is coming from someone who's never seen a horror movie too. So basically everything I'm saying, just disregard and just turn your brain off right now. But I'm just gonna keep talking.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just...
So I'm gonna be playing with common sense. What are you playing with? What's your strategy?
So my strategy is, if you ever see anything, you go the opposite direction. If you hear anything, you don't go towards it. That's my strategy in this.
Okay, well that makes sense. Let's play.
Okay, question 1. You hear a strange sound outside. What do you do? Do you A. Check it out, B. Ask your neighbor to check it out, C. Ignore it, or D. Laugh it off?
Okay, checking it out is stupid. Ignoring it is what they want you to do. Laughing it off, I know enough that the characters who are always laughing things off are always like one of the first to go. I mean, asking your neighbor to check it out doesn't seem like a bad idea. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay.
Question 2. The phone rings and you answer it, but there's only ominous breathing on the other line. What do you say? Do you say, "Very funny, stop prank calling me, or I'm calling the police"? B. "Listen, this isn't funny. I've got a gun and I'm not afraid to use it." C. "Nope, I've seen this in the movies way too many times." Or D. Just hang up and you call the police.
I feel like me in the moment wouldn't say anything, and I would hang up and call the police. But if I'm going from thinking out my options and thinking of what I should say, I would go with B. Listen, I've got a gun.
Okay, fair choice, fair choice.
Question 3. Michael Myers has escaped the containment facility in your town. What precautions do you take? Do you A. Lock every door and window, B. Go to a friend's house, C. Hide, or D. Throw a party?
I mean, all those are like, if you really think about it, are not awful. Because locking every door and window, that's just kind of like... I mean, I assume they're already locked if you're living in the same town where they're keeping Michael Myers. I do know who that is. Going to a friend's house, I mean, at least then you have some backup, and if you like make a plan together, it's kind of be smart. Hiding is like historically the worst thing anyone could choose. And throwing a party, I mean, if as long as no one goes off alone and you have a bunch of people around you, I mean, that covers it for like one night, but what are you gonna do the rest of the nights? So I'm gonna go with going to a friend's house. That seems smart. Question 4. In brief context, this is referencing a movie because it's way too specific, but I don't know what movie, so I'm gonna sound really silly reading this. That's basically all this quiz is making. So, question 4. You live on Elm Street and your best friend across the street just died. Ooh. The other day in their sleep. I shouldn't have had an awkward pause there. Forgive me. All the police found were mysterious claw marks. It's late at night and you're getting sleepy. what do you do? Do you A, take a quick power nap, B, chug a Red Bull, C, take a warm bath, or D, do some research on this Freddy Krueger person your best friend mentioned right before dying?
D, I really thought was leading up to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, so I'm kind of disappointed.
I mean, I know this is your thing, but like, of what I've seen, taking a bath in a horror movie is like signing your death warrant.
Yeah, because there's so many drains,
I feel.
and I don't even know why drains. I don't even know why drains have a
Yeah.
implication in horror movies, but they play a big role. So
Yeah. Anyway, you can continue.
I think taking a power nap would be a dumb choice because, I mean, your friend died in their sleep. So what does that make you? Then chugging a Red Bull. I don't know what that would accomplish. So I think it would be D, even though I feel like you'd be signing up for your death too, because you're doing research on the person you kind of know did it. So basically all of these end in death. But I'm taking D. Question 5. You're a counselor at Camp Crystal Lake, and all of your cabin mates have gone missing in the middle of the night. What weapon do you bring with you to check up on them? Do you A, bring a knife, B, bring a hammer, C, bring a shovel, or D, why would I bring a weapon? My friends are probably just playing a prank.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this is Friday the 13th. But that, I might have just said something stupid and everyone's laughing at me. So, laugh all you want. I don't care. Okay, D is obviously stupid. It's a horror movie. No one plays pranks. I mean, everyone plays pranks and then they get killed. And I mean, like, a knife seems like. Okay, so this, like, the person out in the woods who probably just killed all your friends is probably already armed. But I mean, the knife is like the stereotypical horror movie weapon. And it kind of just seems like you're bringing them a weapon. A hammer, it depends on how big it is. A shovel, depends on how sharp it is. I mean, given my way, if all three choices are there, I would take them all. Or at least a knife and either the hammer or the shovel. Two weapons never hurt anybody. I would probably go with a knife, just because it'd be the one I'm most comfortable using myself, but also the one that if they managed to get, it would probably be the least painful way to go.
Okay. Knife.
Okay, I believe this is question 6. You and your friends find a Ouija board in your attic. What do you do? Convince your friends to play it. Watch your friends play it, but don't go anywhere near it. Just leave it where it is and don't touch it, or burn it.
This one's a no-brainer. It's option C, because if you don't touch it and you leave it, then you're not in the story anymore. Question 7. In a creepy antique store, you find a monkey paw that will grant you 3 wishes. How do you proceed? Would you A, immediately make my 3 wishes? B, make 2 wishes and then hide it where no one will ever find it, not even yourself? C, give it to someone that kinda sucks and let them do what they would want with it? D, I've heard stories about those things, so you don't make any wishes.
I feel like this is referencing a movie that on the third wish, something bad happens. Honestly, option C is really appealing, but I feel like a bunch of these are like just stereotypical ways to die. So I'm just trying to pick the ones that go against the horror movie logic, and that'll save me. But I think if I'm being smart, I go with option D. But being smart just normally gets you killed in the movie anyway, so. Anyway, question 8. Your friend invites you and some friends to their cabin for the weekend. While you're there, you find an old book in the basement with some weird words in it. What do you do? A. Read them out loud because it'll freak everyone out. B. I let my friend read it out loud even though I'm a little nervous. C. My friend reads it out loud without telling anyone, and we all get mad at him because why would you do that? Or D. I convince everyone to just leave it alone.
If I'm in a horror movie, I would say just leave it alone. Because some spirit or something would jump out and kill you if you utter the words. So I say D. I convince everyone to just leave it alone.
Because I mean, all other three options are just getting you to the same place it would get you anyway. So
yeah. Question 9. You move into a new house, and your daughter starts talking to the TV. When you ask her about it, she says, "They're here." How do you respond? Do you A. say, we're getting out of here right now? B. You laugh nervously? C. You say, "That's nice, sweetie." Or B. You say, "Who's here, Carol Ann?"
okay, this is definitely, I think, referencing something. I have many times yelled at my own TV, like mostly on offsides plays. So talking to your TV is not weird. But in a horror movie sense, I think everything's weird and no one's normal. And I'd say we're getting out of here right now, because that's the smart thing to do.
Okay.
Question whatever we're on. There's this tape going around rumored to kill you 7 days after watching it. A mysterious tape shows up in your house. What do you do? Throw that thing out, ASAP. You hide it away, but then it randomly starts playing on your TV anyway. That would honestly be so creepy. C, you watch it. Or D, what's a tape? I know what a tape is. I'm not an uncultured swine.
What's a tape?
And I believe this is I think it's referencing The Ring.
Yeah,
The Ring is the only horror movie I have some knowledge of.
Yeah, I had this whole movie explained to me over 1 hour.
Yeah,
so.
Same here.
So I know what this is, and I would A, throw that thing out ASAP, because 1, if you keep it, it's a death wish. 2, if you watch it, you're an idiot. And the 4th option, what does that accomplish? Like, what's a tape? Like, what would you do with it? Would you watch it because you don't know what it is?
Okay,
I don't
in
know.
this day and age, does anyone even have a tape player? I mean,
that's a good
I
question.
I have a DVD player, but even those are gone now. But like, B is honestly, that would freak me out. But this is the only movie I do have some knowledge of, so I think it's obvious. That might have been the last question.
Oh,
yes, I'm the lone survivor.
What? I'm the lone survivor.
The lone survivor. I mean, there is always a part 2 to horror movies, so. But I mean, like, your friends didn't make it, but you did. That would honestly kind of suck, and I would want revenge, and I would want to survive, but not be the lone survivor. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that segment. I did, but now I'm gonna have nightmares all night. And use common sense in a horror movie. You'll survive.
Transition.
And now we come to the part of the show where we beg you for your help. You as being the audience, because you're the only other one in the room and I'm not talking to you. But the audience isn't here. I'm just making that clear. We need you guys' help. In case you don't know, monetization on YouTube is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 viewing hours, and it's designed basically so you get your 4,000 hours right around your 1,000th subscriber, because presumably your subscribers are watching what you put out. That has not happened for us. The scales are tipped. quite drastically. I don't think we even have. I think we're like at 100 hours, right?
We're at 90.
We're at 90. Yeah, that's a problem. So if you could help us out, please, that'd be terrific. Also, we also would like video ideas because our brains are only so big. So if you could just comment that, we that would be most appreciated. And the third thing is the one I'm most excited about, and this might be sharing company secrets, I don't know. And that is interview opportunities, which would be incentive to get us monetized, because the plan is once we monetize, we set up a Discord server for channel members, and from that Discord server we can pick people to bring on the show and just have a guest host, I guess, a third person we could interview, we could joke around with, cry with, laugh with. And so please help us. We would greatly appreciate it. But that about wraps up the show. This one is probably a bit longer. I don't know. You guys tell me. I had fun in recording this. Did you?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I liked learning how I would react in a horror movie, and how you would react in a horror movie.
Yeah, I did as well. Hopefully these come out a bit more often, like once a week.
Yeah, we're failing at that right now.
So come back next time.
See ya.